As we inch closer to Super Mario 3D World's release, Nintendo just unleashed even more screenshots of the game showing off more levels, more enemies, and of course more hidden details. So you know what that means, it's time to turn on the little analysis machine and see what secrets these screenshots might be hiding. And while we're at it, we'll also explore a few things we missed from the previous trailer that you guys pointed out. And speaking of which, please make sure to check out our previous analysis videos if you haven't already, as we'll only be covering the new stuff here. You can find links to them in the description below. And with that, let's get started. So a lot of the screenshots show off levels we've already seen before, such as World 2-1 here. And in case you're wondering, no, the characters here aren't feeling the fallout from a bad batch of pasta. Instead, they're showing off a move that returns from New Super Mario Bros. That stuns nearby enemies when 2 or more people ground pound at the same time. Now these next 3 screens give us another look at the snow level. Or is that level, since we're still not sure the ones with and without the ice skates are the same ones. Though the similar background and the fact that bitty bud enemies can be seen in both does suggest it may in fact be the same level. Either way, we can tell that based on the enemies and the nook behind them which contains a green star, that this picture takes place in the same location shown in the most recent trailer. But now we can see that you'll be able to find a propeller block somewhere in this level too. Though it appears you may grab it quite a bit earlier in the level, as there doesn't appear to be anywhere Mario could have found it based on everything we've seen in this area. Another image shows off the ice skate, which is taken from the exact same area we saw back in the first trailer. But this time we can see a few more things about this area, such as the fact that there will actually be at least 3 skating Goombas here. Then, if we look to the background, we can see a ledge with some bitty buds. And in fact, this is the same ledge that we saw in the most recent trailer, confirming that this scene not only takes place in the same level, but comes after this screenshot. Finally, did you catch the rabbit hanging out in the background? Yep, it looks just like the one we pointed out from the latest trailer, where Mario seemingly had to catch several of them for some kind of reason. So it looks like you'll have some reason to catch the rabbit here too, and we wouldn't be surprised if there's more to be found elsewhere in this level. Oh, and another screenshot of that same area reveals a second green star location in a far nook. And since that's the same type of hole in the wall as the green star we saw in the scenes without the ice skate, that lends further credence to the idea that this is indeed the same level. Now this next screenshot almost looks like a brand new level at first, but based on the gates here, as well as a key coin between the clouds, we can tell it's actually from the same level as this clip in the previous trailer, just a bit higher up. And between that clip and this picture, we can see that there are 5 key coins that you'll have to grab in order to unlock the warp box here. Now there are a couple of other interesting things about this screenshot, such as the fact that this level appears to take place around what appears to be a Japanese-style temple. And not only that, but do you see the windows there? They match up perfectly to the ones in this interior scene, also from the previous trailer. So either both of these areas are from the same level, which has you exploring both the inside and outside of the compound, or there could be multiple temple-like levels throughout the game. Cementing the connection even more is this picture, which may also be part of that same level, both based on the windows as well as the same spike enemies will also appear in the exterior clip. And in this case, it looks like one of them is guarding a couple coin stacks that should provide you with some fast cash. And in case all of that wasn't enough proof that it might all be the same level, another screenshot shows Mario wearing the same Goomba disguise from the interior clip, only this time in an outside area that again matches the other exterior clip perfectly, as they share the same cloud platforms, thwomps, and night sky. Next up, we get another look at the shielded bully enemy from Mario 64 that we first saw in the previous trailer. And while it doesn't really reveal anything new, check out the sweet reflections. You can see the entire room in his armor. We also get a look at what appears to be a couple of different lava levels. The first screenshot appears to be from a level shown in the last trailer based on the similar enemies and platforms. Now the second lava screenshot's a bit more interesting. For one, it gives us a first in-game look at Magic Koopa, who we can see retains his magic spells made of various shapes. And this portion appears to be taking place on a platform that tilts, which is kind of dangerous in the lava world. Now as you may have noticed, the background here is different from that of the other new screenshot, but it actually matches a background of the poisonous gas scene from the previous trailer. So this could actually be taking place in the same area as that clip, or maybe they just share the same background. These next few screenshots gives us another look at some beach areas similar to the one we first saw in the last trailer. And this first screenshot is especially interesting as it shows something we've never seen before, sand Goombas. But the question is, are these actual enemies or are they just sandcastle-like structures? Well, we think they may just be the former based on the fact that the Goomba disguise will clearly play a role in this level. Is Mario using it to remain hidden from the sand Goombas? And by the way, did you catch the island in the far distance? If we zoom in, we can see it has 3 palm trees and a warp pipe in the center. Yep, that perfectly matches the scene from the last trailer, which means this is very likely the same level. And since in that clip the timer's just barely begun his countdown, that means you'll likely start there before warping to this area. This next screenshot shows what appears to be in the same level, based on the sand Goomba in the background. But now we also get our first in-game look at Koopa Troopas, which appear to play a prominent role in this level, particularly as one appears in yet another screenshot. And as we suspected, you'll now be able to pick up their shells and presumably toss them as a weapon too. Could this be how you take down the sand Goombas? In addition, what's the deal with the pink shell here? Well, we think that may actually mark the return of the blue shell item from the original New Super Mario Bros. Game, only this time color-coded to match the character using it, which in this case would be Princess Peach. And based on her dust trail, it confirms you'll be able to slide around while in this form too, just like before. So it really seems that shells of all kinds may play an important role in this level. Now something else that'll play an important role in this level is yet another set of key coins, based on the one we can see at the end of the dock here that's guarded by some bitty buds. And that's not the only one we spotted, as we can see another in the fourth and final beach shot, which again suggests all of these are from the same level. And we even get to see the warp box that you'll unlock for finding them all here too. Okay, and that covers it for all the levels we've seen before, but there are some new ones here as well. Such as this one that takes place in a bright blue somewhere. And while there's not much to this screenshot, we can see that for the first time, Goomba towers can be capped by different enemies, such as a fire brother here. This should make them just a little trickier to deal with. Moving on, we have a pair of screenshots to show an area high above the clouds, complete with some circus-like buildings, including a Ferris wheel peeking through them. Now if that sounds familiar, that's because it's extremely similar to a clip from the previous trailer. But this time, the clouds appear to be gray instead of pink, and also take place in the rain. Which, believe it or not, is the first time we've actually seen rain in a Mario platforming game. So all this suggests that this isn't the same level as seen in the trailer, but could possibly be part of the same world. And speaking of the rain, did you notice how it even gets a camera lens wet, distorting the image? That's pretty darn cool. And obviously, it appears the new flying dry bones will play a prominent role here, as well as spike traps. And while we're on the topic of circus levels, another screenshot appears to show a level that actually takes place inside the circus itself, at least based on the fact that the terrain appears to be similar to that of the World 4 boss fight at E3, which also took place in the circus-like environment. Now we still have one more rain-soaked image to cover, but based on the background, this one appears to take place in a different level. Here, it looks like you'll have to battle two bullies atop a wooden platform while dodging holes in the floor. But were those holes always there, or did they form throughout the battle? Finally, we have this image from what appears to be a brand new level. But we don't know much about it besides the fact that there are a whole ton of bitty butts trying to keep you from that stamp in the middle. Also, based on how far that warp block is, we're guessing this orange platform is actually a moving one that'll carry you right to it. Alright, and that covers it for all the screenshots, but there's still a few things from the latest trailer that I missed in our last analysis that you guys pointed out, so here we go. So to start things off, as pointed out by a few thousand of you, that sea creature in the background of Bowser's castle is actually a giant 8-bit Luigi. And we're guessing this is just a cool little Easter egg to help further celebrate it being the year of Luigi. But given how prominent those 8-bit Luigis were in New Super Luigi U, we wouldn't be surprised if he pops up elsewhere in the game. Next up, let's talk about the world map again for a second. Now before we pointed out how Bowser's castle has a gate on it, suggesting there may be some condition you need to meet to unlock it. But we also noted that it was possible the level was already completed due to the path extending past it. Well, as MergZ pointed out, that path actually isn't complete, as it lacks a gold line to the rest of the path, which does at least confirm that the gate does indeed mean the level hasn't yet been completed. We also took a look at the various Sprixies you'll be rescuing, and noted how their hair color may offer a hint as to what world themes they represent. Although we weren't quite sure what the purple one could mean. But MCPE Monkey thinks it may hint at a ghost world, whereas Gabriel Tavares thinks it could represent a swamp world instead. Another thing we noted was the amount of similarities the game had to Super Mario Bros. 2, including the doors in the level Shadow Play Alley, which appear to have been ripped right from that game. But our very own Tom Arnold noticed a connection that I missed. Those doors this time around actually lead to a shadow version of the level, which in and of itself is extremely similar to Super Mario Bros. 2, where they also led you to a shadow-looking version of the current level. Crazy! Something else we forgot to mention in our last analysis is that the Mega Mushroom from the new Super Mario Bros. Series is going to have a presence here too, at least based on the official artwork. Finally, before we showed this image that showed most of the stamps in the game, and since we knew there was one per level, it gave us a rough idea of how many levels would be in total. Except the lower right corner was partially obscured, so we estimated it to be about 90. Well, since then, the complete image has been released, and we now have a slightly more accurate count. Now, it is a bit tricky to tell exactly where every stamp begins and ends, but it looks like there'll be around 85 or 86 stamps here, which of course means there'll be about 85 or 86 levels, which is quite a few. Now, something else to note is that it's possible to tell how many of those stamps are based on their outline, suggesting their presence in the game. And while most of them are of things we've seen before, at least one of them offers something new. If we zoom in on this one, we can see it appears to be an outline of Rosalina, and she appears to be surrounded by a couple of Lumas. So it looks like she really will play some kind of role in this game, as we expected when we spotted her Comet Observatory in the game's official artwork. Alright, and with that, we're done covering everything we could dig up in the latest round of screenshots and trailers. And like always, let us know if you missed anything by posting in the comments. If you liked our analysis, please make sure to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at GameXplain. There are even super easy to click links in the description below. Thanks for watching, and make sure to keep an eye on GameXplain.com for more on Super Mario 3D World and other things gaming too.